I am recording. Okay, there you go. Welcome back to Dork Trek. Happy 2020. We
made it.
Yes, we took off more time than we wanted to, but it was still nice to take off the time. We're back with season 6 of Deep Space Nine. We're great. And we want to say hello to Gary, who's our Australian listener. He's the only one. And we heard that he's safe from all the fires, so that's good. I was worried about you. So I'm glad that you're okay over there in Australia with all the fires, because that sounds super scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I saw somebody put a picture of how many hectares of Australia are on fire. And if you put that space of land over England, it stretched from the channel all the way to Scotland.
Yes, it's very frightening.
It's like the whole of England would fit. Like you chop off Wales and Scotland, and that's pretty much what's burning right now.
Yeah, it's pretty frightening. So we're glad that people, hopefully you're safe if you're listening to this.
Isn't that basically what happened in Turn Left in Doctor Who when the Titanic crashed?
It's not always about Doctor Who, Dennis.
London.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
I just watched the BBC recently aired two lost episodes, I think, and they were ones where the footage they didn't have, they just put in animation for it.
Uh-huh.
It's actually pretty enjoyable.
Which episodes were those?
I haven't seen both of them. I've seen the what's it called? Shara with the Fourth Doctor.
Okay, yep. I think I've seen that.
Now, were you watching this on Pluto?
No, it was on. They just released it, so our YouTube TV recorded it for me.
Okay, nice. Yay. Nice.
I think the other one's a Second Doctor episode, the Macra Terror.
Is that the one we saw in the theater a couple years ago?
No, that was Power of the Daleks.
Ah, okay.
Power of the Daleks. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop.
Because they were at an electrical plant.
Electrical plant. Beep, boop, boop, boop,
Power.
Power. Beep, boop, boop, boop,
The
beep,
power
boop.
of the Daleks
Solar.
is love.
Love your neighbor. Beep, boop, boop. Yay.
Their love language is exterminate.
Exterminate!
So we have a really, really great episode of
Holy smokes.
Deep Space Nine to get into, but before that, we want to welcome everybody back. Ben, Jenny, Dennis, hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hope everybody had a great holiday season.
Looking back, this is a great year.
Eh.
Or at least it seems that way in hindsight.
Well, we've got a lot to look forward to. We're finishing up Deep Space Nine. There's Picard on the horizon. In like 2 weeks, Picard starts, so that's fun.
The first Picard short trek came out today.
I heard it was fantastic.
It's time to resubscribe.
The internet
it's not really an episode. It felt like a PSA more than anything.
Well, the internet was going crazy for it.
It was good, but it was just it's not really an episode.
They got the internet going like a crazy machine. So I don't know.
Have you watched?
You'll see what I mean when you watch it.
Have you watched the other short treks yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I stopped the week before the animated one came out, so I've seen up until I haven't seen it, the first animated one, I guess.
I haven't seen any of these. I feel like I'm so far behind on the Trek that people are going to say, like, you're not a real fan because you don't watch everything that's ever been created and made Star Trek.
Have you read all the books? If not, then you're not a real fan.
Have you read all the comics? Have you read all the fucking bubblegum cards that came out in 1979 when the movie came out and memorized every fact? Because if not, then you're not a real fan.
I
personally snorted Gene Roddenberry's ashes.
There's enough.
I sit in front of my television in 1978 with the realistic tape recorder with a cassette in, and I record each episode.
You're not a real fan.
And then I would put the headphones on, and I would listen to those tapes, and I would transcribe the episodes by hand into my notebooks.
Not a real fan.
Just so I could memorize the captain's logs.
If you were a real fan, you would have written everything down and then drawn like storyboards. So you're not a real fan. But anyway, speaking of story logs, speaking of the captain's logs, that's a really good way to get into this episode because it kind of starts, with Sisko doing a log entry.
And not in the bathroom.
No, he's not. He's not dropping a deuce. He's not making a log. He's recording a log. And I don't even know what day it is today.
How I felt for the entire year so far.
I know.
Yeah.
At least the computer can multitask because it can record and tell him the time. So
God, it's so nice.
At least we can look forward to that in the future.
Siri would have lost her shit if you tried. It's like, hey, record a memo. Oh, what day is it? Which one do you want?
Overload. I mean, Siri sucks. I hate Siri.
Skynet launching.
At least Alexa will tell you things that you directly ask them. Like today, Sophie and I have been reading like a bunch of Peanuts books. This year, we're reading 1973 and 1974. And we were in 1973, and it's this little, I guess, story arc where Snoopy is about to break Babe Ruth's home run record. All right,
okay.
And it's kind of paralleling Hank Aaron's kind of thing, and people are writing Snoopy.
They got to take that away from Hank Aaron.
No, I think Schultz is doing because Snoopy is receiving letters like, you don't deserve this, you're not from this country, like we hate you, blah. Yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
Wait,
and
where is Snoopy from?
The Daisy Hill Puppy Farm.
Uh-huh.
But it's just saying
That's not in this country.
But it's just saying just paralleling the things that I imagine Hank Aaron was going through at the time.
Huh.
So I asked Siri, I said, Siri, what year did Hank Aaron break Babe Ruth's record? And she just, Hank Aaron is the home run leader of, I was like, what? No, what fucking year?
1973, right?
It was 1974 he did it.
Oh.
And then she just kept telling me all this other stuff that I didn't need, so I just had to Google it, like with my fingers, like I'm some kind of savage.
Siri was stalling while she looked it up. Oh,
she didn't know shit.
Hold on, I had to check this. Hey, Google. When did Hank Aaron break the home run record?
1974. On the website pointer.org, they say, on April 8, 1974,
I respect that from Google.
Hank Aaron of the Atlanta Braves hit his 715th career home run, breaking the record set by Babe Ruth back in 1935.
See, at least it gave the answer that you were looking for first, and then the follow-up information.
So check this out.
Shut up.
Siri, when did Hank Aaron break Babe Ruth's home run record?
Hank Aaron had 755 home runs during his MLB career.
That's it.
LB.
That's all. That's it. When did Babe Ruth?
Say what year? What year?
What year did Hank Aaron break Babe Ruth's home run record?
I'm on it. Babe Ruth had 6 home runs during the 1935 MLB.
Stupid bitch.
Yeah, nothing.
6 home runs in 1930. That has nothing to do with anything you asked.
Because we had Echo Dot for a while.
No. My Echo Dot works perfectly. This is Siri.
No, I know, but we had Echo Dot. I have Siri on my phone. I was immediately disgusted with Siri.
Yeah.
Echo Dot drove me crazy. I can't do that. I can't answer that right now. I can't do that right.
We need to send a copy of this recording to Tim Apple so that he can fix it.
As soon as I got the Google Home, though, I was addicted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every morning, me and John Legend spend the morning together because I ask him to tell me about my day. How
does John Legend know how your fucking day is going to go, Ben?
Because he's in my Google Home. I said the keyword, and then I said talk like a legend, and it started speaking like John Legend, and I've just not turned it off since.
All right.
And he tells me the time and temperature. He tells me
Google appreciates all your delicious data too.
He tells me
everything about yourself.
He tells me it's going to be an 18-minute drive to work. And then he cues up my morning porn routine. So it's just my favorite device.
Can it really do that?
No.
See, but that's the point, though.
I can set theater mode, though. I'm working on that. I've got. Well, for the home, you can set theater mode, and then the Google Home will adjust your lighting. So you go to presets. You can like name them things, and then you can like change the lighting automatically.
The tissues and the lotion pop up.
It's kind of like Quagmire's house where the disco ball drops. Yeah, all that.
I don't know.
Computer, activate porn mode.
And I don't even have any
Doors
fancy.
locking.
shades.
The bars drop. I can't get out. I know.
Vaseline just comes at you. Yeah, but this is serious stuff, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. This may be the greatest episode of Deep Space Nine ever created.
A lot of people vote that.
It's real good.
Mhm.
Now let me ask you this. I forget. I'm just gonna edit all that out. Let me ask you this, Ben.
Yeah.
Being a Trek fan, right? And like a hardcore Trek fan where, good guys do good stuff and bad guys do bad guy stuff. Like what was the reception to this episode when it came out in the year of our Lord 1998? Like, how did the Star Trek fandom accept this episode? Because your boy Sisko, he's doing a lot of bad things for all the right reasons, if you will.
I actually did not see this one when it first aired immediately.
Oh, so you're not a real fan.
What are they saying in the chat rooms?
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing, is I was offline. So by this point, I was having to wait for the episodes to show up on AFARTS.
All right, so you're not a real fan, then, is what you're saying.
And, well, no, I was busy listening to my cassette tapes from the original series while I was serving my country in Japan.
Well, that's some real fans, then.
You should have been serving Starfleet.
Yeah. Because that was the first thing I thought.
I had to make sure that the Japanese Empire didn't reassert itself.
Before we could make first contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, because as soon as this episode finished, I was like, wow, that was really fucking good. But I instantly thought, how does the typical Star Trek fan react to something like this? Because there's so much gray area involved.
Well, we've seen it. You and I have specifically seen the reaction to this episode.
Kill man?
Yes, because that was one of the things that he was saying, if I recall correctly, he or someone in that audience, was that Deep Space Nine was when Star Trek moved away from its values, and it started trying to be dark and gritty
and entertaining,
and it completely went away from Gene Roddenberry's original vision.
Good.
So,
I don't think it's going away from it. I think it's just showing another side of that vision.
No, because we evolved past all that. In the future, we're all free love, and
that's the thing. Like, humans have been around for what, like 100,000 years or something like that. And
about 250,
Star Trek is postulating that within 200 years we'll have it all figured out. I don't think.
Yeah, that's Roddenberry is saying that.
Yeah, by the year 2020, by the year 2022, we got this all figured out. It's all good. It's all good.
No, 2022, we're sticking people in sanctuary cities. And
I can see that happening, actually. We're on track for that.
Yeah.
It's all coming true. Roddenberry's an actual prophet. But, man, this episode's so good. And it's kind of set up like a play almost, because it's it's like a wrestling promo. Sisko is just talking to the camera for a while.
Did anybody, though, feel like more connected to the episode because of that?
Yes.
Like, it wasn't like freaking me out like, oh, you're breaking the third wall or the fourth wall, possibly the third one. But it at some point I got so into the episode that it felt like, I don't know, he was talking to me.
Yeah.
If I'm completely honest, like, it was distracting because if I had seen this in 1998 when it came out, it would have been innovative and interesting and engrossing and everything. But by now, how many times have we seen something like this? Not necessarily in Star Trek, but just in media in general. Like,
I agree with you, Dennis.
This way of storytelling and even the plot is something that you see a lot in other types of like procedural type shows or whatever.
I think we could have gotten the same exposition from him, like talking about his thoughts if he was just alone in his room, kind of pacing around in his quarters or something and doing the captain's log in between scenes if there was something that needed to be filled in. I didn't.
Yeah. This is like the how did I get here kind of storytelling. It's like, okay, I've seen this.
Wasn't this early enough?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. If I saw it in 1998, I would have the reaction of like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's going on here? And it would have brought me more into the story. But I've seen this type of, don't give me that look, Ben.
I'm giving you that look too. I agree with Ben.
I just think
Jenny agrees with me.
I agree with you. No,
Well,
that was
then
that was my only nitpick with this episode. And
Me too.
So
at this point in DS9, like you kind of almost have to nitpick just because like every episode is so good that I was just like it turned me off. I was watching it with Haley, and she was like, "This is like a reality show where they're doing the confessionals."
So it's like an episode of The Office where Jim is talking directly to the camera?
Yes, that's exactly what she
See,
said.
but
She was
why
like, "This is like The Office in space."
Why should Deep Space Nine suffer? Because they were one of the ones kind of breaking
But
new
so-
ground here in 1998.
So like
Shut up, Dennis!
so like if you
did it.
watch Star Wars 1977 for the
Yes.
first time today as a person,
Yes.
and you wouldn't have the same reaction like, oh my gosh, these special effects are amazing. You wouldn't be thinking, oh, this is actually made in 1976, 1977, so that actually is pretty amazing special effects for the movie. You'd be like, it looks okay. Like I've seen better. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like if I had seen this 21 years ago when it came out, then it would have been a lot more effective.
For me, even ignoring the fact that like it's something that we've seen a million times, I think that there were a couple times, I can't remember exactly what it was, but like he would tell us what happened when I was like, I wish we had just seen that scene happen rather than him talk about what happened. So, like I said, there's a couple places where I do think it would have been nice to hear what his inner monologue was, but like
And a lot of times
that
he was recapping what just happened. So I'm imagining there was a commercial break in between what happened and him recapping it. So it kind of loses the effect when you watch it on Netflix and there's no commercial. You're like, yeah, I know. I know, Sisko, I just saw it, man. It's crazy.
All right, that's cool. You're wrong, but that's cool that you have that opinion.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob.
I mean, you couldn't be
Put it on the poll.
further out. I mean,
Who's right?
I want to shoot you guys into space, the dark, cold emptiness of space.
bye, bitch.
Open the airlock.
Man, this is more divisive than Rise
It is.
Yeah, that's right.
of Skywalker.
That movie stinks, by the way. Stinks, I tell you.
Don't please nobody say I'm going to see it with my kids this weekend. I'm sorry. I've been busy.
You still haven't seen it, Ben?
I haven't seen it yet. I know at some point C-3PO takes a shit in a gay bar apparently, but just please no more spoilers.
That might have happened. I don't know.
That's
remember.
we finally find out why they call him Goldenrod.
There was a goldenrod in this episode too. They needed a goldenrod to write down some information. But Avery Brooks is conflicted. He's having a really hard time because it's only been 2 weeks since this course that he was forced to take because the Federation was just getting their ass whipped on a weekly, daily basis by the Dominion. That they get the bright idea. He gets the bright idea just from a casual conversation to try to get the Romulans involved in the war.
Well, yeah, because they're looking at the casualty list, and Dax knows this lady who was the captain of the Cairo, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
And
Cairo got fucked up.
they got attacked because the Dominion are attacking from across the Romulan neutral zone. So the Romulans have this non-aggression treaty with the Dominion, and so they just let them fly all through their space.
It was kind of like the Russians and the Nazis in World War II, where they had that non-aggression pact at the beginning of it, but then Hitler was like, psych. And
Yeah, we're going to invade you guys, yeah. But yeah, so this is, I guess, similar in that vein. But then Sisko, I guess just, again, through casual conversation between Julian, Dax, and himself, they bring up the Romulans. And he's like, yeah, we should get the Romulans involved in the war. That's a great idea. But then he's got to try to figure out how to get some evidence that the Spoonhead friends, that the Cardassians, they're actually going to attack the Romulans at some point. The Dominion, they're going to do this. So they need evidence on the fact. So he enlists Garrick, which is fucking great because Garrick's in the episode.
Well, before that though, I loved the interaction between Sisko and Dax.
Yes.
When they're role playing with her as the Romulan response, like she could absolutely play a Romulan.
Mm-hmm.
It just, but I had a question. Did anybody else feel like her makeup was just not right?
Come on.
Like it looked
Don't
like
pick on her looks.
No, she looked tired, or she looked ill.
Damn.
It looked, there was like a graying.
It's
it was
the
like,
war, man. It's the realistic makeup of the war. The war is fucking everybody up, and everybody's.
I'll buy that. Okay.
That's my explanation.
Okay.
And this episode was really dark.
Worf is really wearing her out, man.
Yeah, it's just like
that guy's fucking insatiable with his 2 dicks,
and he's just fucking her face all the time. But the episode was just shot really dark. Like it just. Thank you, Dennis. Dennis is pantomiming what it actually looked like when that happened. For those of you that don't get the video on Patreon, yes,
Worth $1 right there.
Worth the few bucks a month to watch Dennis pantomime that.
And then Ben's inevitable reaction. If you ever want to see what a keeper looks like,
because he hangs.
Just wait until Ben is embarrassed to be on the show.
Hangs his head in shame. But yeah, it's just wonderful. I thought that interaction was really good, even though it was obvious that of course they're going to want some evidence of this tampering. You stupid.
It's like they were doing debate team or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was cute.
Yeah.
I picture them having this conversation about a lot of things, like where to go for dinner together.
That would be awesome.
I don't want to go to Applebee's again. We just went to Applebee's last week.
But Applebee's has riblets, and riblets are very tasty. They're also offering two for
the 2 for $20.
TGI Fridays has cheaper shots.
Well, if it's alcohol you want, then TGI Fridays is where we'll go. I need evidence of these shots. No evidence. Of course you'll need evidence, old man.
Computer.
But don't ask Siri, because Siri will just tell you nothing.
TGI Fridays was founded in 1970s.
TGI Fridays is...
Don't give me years now, Siri.
...is a popular chain restaurant.
Lie, Siri. It's not popular.
Yeah,
nobody goes there.
TGI Friday stands for That Golf is Friday.
I really kind of laughed at the scene at the beginning. I know it was not like written to be funny, but when they're going up and like reading the list of names, and it's like every Friday we get the list of names of people that died. I'm really starting to hate Fridays. And I'm like, Fridays, am I right, guys?
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Fridays.
Yeah, the crew of the Cairo.
Their worries are over.
Yours are just beginning.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
You merely adopted the Delta Quadrant.
I was born in it.
I was born in it.
You have to put the face, because when the voice is done correctly, the face is covered, Dennis.
Oh, you guys.
No, you never win. You never win, Dominion.
I've already won the Beta Quadrant.
The people of the Federation will join the Romulans and defeat you.
The Romulans have a non-aggression pact. Next, the Borg will join us.
Catwoman, why'd you betray me?
I wonder if Bob ever just steps away and he's like, what are they talking about?
I wonder if they're talking about me.
He
goes back and listens just to see what we say.
Oh, he's such an awesome guy.
Yay.
This is probably for me, and not to go tell Bob about it, but it was just one of those things.
Wait, he's back.
Shh, he's back. That guy's a dick. Everybody be quiet.
I don't know how they got the fire out though.
So that's what she said. So where were we? What were you guys talking about? Let me know. I want to know.
Nothing.
All right, fine. Is this pod over? Are we done? That it? Show's finished?
No. We didn't really move on.
No. Backtracked a little bit, if
We're
anything.
just fucking around.
I'll just listen to it and I'll see what you guys are talking about later.
Uh-oh.
See, I told you.
See, he just deletes it. We're fine.
I won't delete. I'll just leave. I don't do any extra work.
He won't listen.
Sometimes it's enough work just getting the episode online. Well, am I going to edit stuff?
That's what, when you said earlier, I'm going to edit this out later, I almost said, that's a shot, because people should have a drinking game for whenever That gets.
I mean, sometimes I will edit things out, like if it's
really bad.
Yeah.
Like if a real person's name is used in a libelous way.
Yes, because you got to watch your ass. But
Slanderous.
so
All the N-bombs that are dropped.
well, I mean, that's on the Patreon.
Yeah.
If you're racist and you're a Star Trek fan, Patreon is where you want to be because
Oh yeah.
Dennis just really doesn't like the Chinese.
Which is, I mean, the racial stuff though usually comes in at the $50 level, right?
Yeah, that's where Dennis just really goes off.
You get the commentary track.
You should hear what he has to say about the Vietnamese, man.
The commentary has nothing to do with the episode, either the DS9 episode or the Dork Trek episode.
Nope.
It's just a rant against those Chinese.
At the $300 level, though, there's the under track that is actually just us spending 15 quality minutes giving an in-depth breakdown of the episode.
No, that's where we talk about the in-depth breakdown of Dennis's racial slurs against the Chinese.
The commentary track on the commentary track.
Yes, we
at
actually
at the $500 level, you get a 2-hour-long discussion about Police House. It's worth every dollar.
At the $750 level, there's just 20 minutes of a low hum. We just wanted to see if you'd pay.
We're making
for
all
it.
these commitments. Like we're gonna have to follow through.
Well, if somebody gives us $500, I will make a low hum. Okay, like that's
Right.
fine. I can figure that out.
No, that was $750. Just to be clear.
I was going to say $750 is the low hum,
Okay.
$1,000 nudes.
which is odd because
Not ours.
No,
Just nudes.
just random nudes.
Your nudes. We're just gonna
I go to. We hack your computer.
we hack your computer and get nudes.
Oh,
Or just take them ourselves.
Mom?
We'll use the money to buy a drone, fly it to your house, and take nudes of you.
Yeah.
hmm
That's the Dork Trek promise.
The Dork Trek guarantee. Nudes.
That doesn't sound like a low hum. It sounds like propeller. What the hell? No.
I'm so confused. And
No, that's just my
aroused.
vibrator.
Yes.
Oh, so I listened to a podcast where sex toys came up, and it was quite funny.
It was quite comical.
Is it
Is
a
it Method
podcast
Broadcast?
featuring one of our characters?
It may be, but there were cats involved and sex toys, and
That sounds frightening.
you would think, but it.
Okay, Cupid, but for pegging? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Justin called it OK Pegasus.
Okay.
All right, I'm down with that.
Okay,
sounds fun.
Pegasus.
Okay.
What if Pegasus would only let you ride if it could peg you first?
I'm
Come on,
down.
Perseus. You want to ride? You want to go get Medusa? Come on. Let me peg you.
I don't know. I've never done this before.
Sounds kind of weird, but I'm
Just
curious.
let it happen. Just let it happen, you Greek freak.
Don't be so tense. You gotta loosen up a little.
Relax. Let my flying horse dick go in your ass.
Yeah.
Come on.
It actually helps if you kind of push it, like you're trying to take a dump and get. Anyway, just go with it. It's fine.
I like it.
Andromeda, you seeing this over here?
This is great. We are, but yes. So Sisko goes to Garrick because he needs some help, and he's like, "Hey, I know who can do this." Garrick, because Garrick's an ex-spy, and he probably has some intelligence contacts on Cardassia Prime, and maybe he can find this information.
Garrick has been his resources have been pretty impressive
Yes.
in the past,
Mhm.
but this is a really big ask.
Oh yeah.
Can you get this most valuable intel from the depths of the Cardassian, Obsidian Order? It's like,
Is this the first time he's actually just blatantly gone to him and said, "Hey, do this real shady shit for me"?
yeah.
Kind of.
There
yes.
was one time where he asked Garrick to come in and take his measurements while they were discussing classified
Yeah.
stuff because
Yeah.
he knew Garrick would tell Gul Dukat about it.
Yes. Yes.
So he's always kind of done it sneakily before. But
Yeah, but this was just.
hey man,
Look, baby, I need some help.
He's just like, hey, look, we got to move past the small talk shit.
Come on, Garrick, man, I need that intel, baby. You got to give it to me.
And I mean, Garrick says, okay, let me see what I can do. And I like the fact that this happens in real time because this, then he has this conversation instantly. So this is still Friday. And then 3 days later, he goes back to Garrick and he's like, so how are we looking? He's like, well, I'm trying my best. I called a bunch of people and they told me that they too were not
they're all dead.
Yes, that's what I was getting to. Then they're all dead. They all got killed the same day. So...
And Sisko gave up a little too easy on that. He's like, well, you tried. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that was, maybe. I think maybe he was waiting for Garrick to make the suggestion so he didn't have to.
I never took it that way, but that's interesting.
And then Garrick goes, well, you know what we can do? Just make that shit up, baby.
Huh? What?
We'll just
lie?
We'll just forge it all, Daddy.
I don't know. I remember a young acting ensign, Wesley Crusher, one time. Someone accused him of telling an untruth, and he said, and if I can remember this quote exactly, "I'm from Starfleet. We don't lie."
Well,
yeah, he's a fucking nerd.
Yes. I agree with that, Jenny. And this is, we're talking because right before this had happened, the planet Betazoid fell under Jem'Hadar rule. It fell under the thumb of the Dominion, which I don't know. I don't know how they didn't sense.
Oh my God, is Waxon all right?
Oh man, I sense some trouble coming. We better get out of here. I sense a lot of angry people coming this way.
Maybe that's why it was so easy.
Hotline went out of business. It's like, how did they not see that coming?
Did they not mind readers, not fortune tellers?
But they got caught up. The whole planet.
I sense great Jem'Hadar.
Since we're about to get our asses kicked.
They got shitty weapons, and the fleet that was supposed to be protecting them was training.
Convenient.
Yes.
Beta Z was an inside job.
I think so too. That's what I was thinking. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
How do them always read my mind?
Mental beams don't melt jet something.
Metal bars.
You're right, Ben?
I think Ben just had a stroke.
Quite possibly.
But yeah, so Beta Z was an inside job. The planet fell, so now they're kind of desperate at this point. So they're going to fake some shit because Elam Garrick knows all this stuff. There's this senator, this Romulan senator whose name I cannot find on the Wikipedia page.
Vreenak.
Yes, Vreenak. Yes, Vreenak is going to meet with Wayun, but before he does, maybe they can ask him to come to Deep Space Nine and they can give him a bunch of information that, hey, man, they're talking about invading Romulus, so you guys better get some shit hopping, baby, because it's going to get bad for you, Jack. And like, well, how are we going to do that? And he's like, well, I know just the guy who can fake all this stuff with holodeck technology.
Ooh, holographics.
That sounds awesome.
But he just so happens to be in Klingon prison about to be executed.
Yes.
So you need to get him a pardon.
So let's see what
Which already sounds like, is this just your buddy that you're trying to get out of trouble?
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, when you meet him, he's an alien race I've never seen before. Ben, what alien race is that guy?
Snork.
Fuck if I know.
He looked like a snork. But of course, he's
like
shark-like.
He's like a weird, sharky goldfish guy.
And of course, he's an eccentric weirdo. Because he hangs out with Garrick. So,
I don't know if he hangs out with Garrick so much as he's scared shitless about Garrick.
I just picture him and Garrick having those scenes like Joe Pesci's house in JFK, lots of cooking, like lots of cocaine, and they're painting those gold and having gay sex with each other, and like running around.
Jones.
Yeah, running around with like angel wings on. And like
the guy dressed like Mercury.
Like that's what I pictured, like fancy gay sex parties like they have together, like but kind of rough, you know what I'm saying? Like fancy.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, fancy rough gay sex parties him and Garrick used to go to together, and that's how they know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy rough gay sex house parties.
Yes.
Well, if this episode is any indication, they both like getting roughed up because Sisko really takes the wood to him.
Yeah,
Both of them.
Yeah.
he does. And it's cool to see Sisko kind of emote such anger and emotion because he's normally so cool and collective. Yes. But yeah, so he tells him that, you're not working for Starfleet, you're working for me. And instantly this guy's perverted mind goes like, oh, I'll get you some more Orion slave girls, baby.
That's right. What do you want, 5 or 6?
You can kill them. No one will ever know. you can kill them and then have sex.
Choke one and stab the other.
Yeah, and
and
then
get your phaser on.
bathe in their blood, baby. You do it all. You crazy sex perv. He's like, no, dude. It's
What the fuck?
I'm not Kirk.
He was thinking about it for a second, though. He's like,
Yeah.
maybe.
Dude, Thomas Riker's in a Cardassian prison. Wrong guy.
Well, Riker.
Probably not anymore.
Yeah.
Once the Dominion got there, like, what's this fucking guy doing here?
Let's kill him.
First, he has to fight some Jem'Hadar.
Yeah.
I bet he could probably fight. I mean, Thomas Riker can fight because Will was a good fighter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially if you give him like a big Q-tip thing and he fights his dad.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm Bojutsu.
yeah.
There was talk that he was going to come back in like the 6th or 7th season.
Thomas?
But they just kind of forgot. And it was like
Good.
we never got around to it.
I'm good with that. I don't need to see
My
Thomas
bad.
Riker.
Jonathan Frakes is just sitting in the hall waiting to be called on set.
What if in
Yeah.
Picard it's Thomas Riker who's married
Ooh.
to?
Ooh,
That would be
twist.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a twist. Like, number one, he's like, baby, you got the wrong guy.
I'm Tommy Boy.
We done switched.
That would be pretty awesome.
But it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah. If it does happen in season 2, then they stole it from us. We'll
Yeah,
know.
then we can
Mhm.
sue.
Yeah.
Then we're suing.
It's like we let the 2 penis thing slide.
Now, Data's going to
Yeah.
be in the show, right? And so is number 1 and
Deanna.
What about like Dr. Crusher? Is Dr. Crusher showing up? Because they was in love, man. They had a special bond.
Was they?
They
Was
was.
they?
Or was it a love of convenience?
I
Yeah,
think
they
it
love
was.
each other.
It was the deep.
Deep state?
Yes, it was the deep state. Yes.
I don't know.
Just because they were on a ship together and like they were there.
They shared trauma together. So that's what,
She's an import 6, but she's an underweight 9, and I just
Yeah.
You know what, Ben? Well said. That was wonderful. That was perfect.
it's completely untrue though, because when I had the opportunity to host a panel with Gates McFadden at Tidewater Comic Con a couple of years ago, she is still just unbelievable. Just she's fantastic.
Does she still got that pancake ass?
Like when she was
she's a holodeck 10 except for that pancake ass.
Mm-hmm.
when she came out on stage and climbed up on the table,
What?
Because she likes to
She
sit
just
on the
sat
table.
on the table.
She sat on the table because she likes to be closer to the fans. And
When you say climbed on, I imagine it being like cat-like.
That's very Beto
Start
O'Rourke.
dancing.
That's very Beto O'Rourke, rolling up the sleeve, standing on the bar kind of thing.
But no, she
Plan.
I don't know. I guess I did the math wrong. And so like I was like, yeah, she's doing pretty good for somebody who's like 59 years old, climbing up on a table like that, blah blah. And then it clicked that it's like, oh wait, no, she's 69.
Yeah.
I've got a lady who's like almost 70 climbing up on a table and is just amazing. This woman is in the fantastic. It's because she was a dancer. It has to be part of it.
I was just thinking the other day, like, you remember when Grumpy Old Men came out? And like a lot of people were talking about Sophia Loren still looks really good, blah, blah, blah. She's so hot for her age and everything. She was like in her 60s or 50s or something like that.
No, she was in her 50s. She'd had to be older than that.
I think she was in her 60s.
She was like 1,000 years old is what you're saying.
Okay.
But like people in their 60s now look good.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson's 71 years old.
Yeah.
71.
Crazy.
I listened to a podcast today. Somebody said, "Oh, like they were trying to." They just offhandedly said, "Oh no, wait, he's like in his 50s or something." I was like, "No, he's way older than that."
Yeah.
He seems like he's in his 50s.
71. Look
but-
at fucking Picard. Fucking Patrick Stewart's like 75 years old. Or some crazy shit like that.
He's got to be older than that.
Yeah, he's gonna be like 78 or 79.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
helped win trivia with his birthday one
Yeah, I
time.
think when we started this podcast, he was 71.
He's
I believe.
79 years old.
Yeah, he's not. He's not too much younger than Shatner.
But he looks way better shape than Shatner.
Does he?
Yes, because he's aging gracefully because he's not wearing fucking...
Take that rug
Is
off
he?
of Shatner's head.
Yeah.
Then we'll see.
You get Picard.
Picard is aging way better than Shatner.
I don't know.
Shatner weighs like 2 Picards.
No.
Get it? Because he's hiding. He's trying to pretend like, Bill, everybody knows this ain't 1969, baby.
Yeah.
You ain't looking like that no more, Jack.
He's only 88.
88.
Jesus.
Who's going to die first, Paul McCartney or William Shatner?
McCartney.
You think so?
How
Yep.
old is Paul McCartney?
No. I think it's going to be William Shatner.
I will make that bet right now. What are the stakes?
Paul McCartney
There's a good, like, 10 years
is
difference between them.
77 years old.
Yep.
Now, who's going to die first, Paul or Ringo?
Paul.
Paul.
All right.
Ringo's immortal.
All right. He's the Highlander.
There can be only one.
Whoever's the last Beatle absorbs all of their power.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Paul looks better now than he did a couple years ago because before he looked kind of bad. But I think now he stopped dyeing his hair.
He's starting
Does
to
he,
look like an old man again instead of
Yeah.
an old woman.
Yes.
I was going to say, does he still look like Angela Lansbury? Oh, you know it's true.
Because Paul was wearing a lot of makeup there for a while too.
He was going down the Steven Tyler road of
Yeah.
aging.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his hair actually looks like normal now. It's not like that weird, dark brown auburn shit that he put in there before.
That
like,
mullety thing he was rocking.
Yeah.
He looked like Ellen DeGeneres. It was a weird look. It's like, why do you look like Ellen?
I was like scrolling through his Wikipedia page real quick, and you have on the sidebar they have like, when you're born and when you die, if you're dead, and your age or whatever. But it also has your family and your spouses and your kids or whatever. So I'm like scrolling down or whatever, and I'd seen his name, and then immediately I saw, died 1998, and I'm like, wait, what? No, that was Linda.
Yes, Linda died.
Yeah.
She was great on that Simpsons episode.
God, Simpson's been around.
I'm Sergeant Peppers.
Yes. Ringo Starr is 79.
He's almost as old as Patrick Stewart.
Ringo. But yeah, so
Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen. Who dies first?
they'll die together. Like
Aw.
one will die,
hands.
one will die, and then one will die shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Now, if all these people start dying, I'm gonna be sad.
Did we just
Because
curse them?
I would feel like we cursed them.
Probably. I've
Like 2020, the new death year.
I've been on podcasts where that happened, so I'm suddenly
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
me too. We were killing everybody at the beginning of 2016 on Mouthy Broadcast.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
Was it
Yeah.
Bowie, Prince? I mean, how many failed?
And
to-
Abe Vigoda.
Abe Vigoda.
Yeah. Like we made a joke that like, how did Abe Vigoda survive Prince? And then he died like in between recording that episode and publishing it.
Wow.
He died.
Abe
I was
Vigoda.
like,
Now,
no.
didn't you record like a special? This episode was recorded before the tragic passing.
Yes.
Like it was the only time you've ever done one of those like pre-apology things.
Yes, because I actually felt really bad about it because like we made that joke and then it was like, oh, whoops. And I think that was when we used to like record 2 episodes at a time and one would be like on a week delay. So it was that
Yeah.
one.
Jesus.
I liked how Conan O'Brien used to trot Abe Vigoda out just to prove that he was still alive.
Yeah.
That
There
was
used to be a website that you
Yeah.
could go to. Is Abe Vigoda dead? No. And then that was just big, white letters on a black screen. No. And then the day he passed, it shifted to yes. I know there's got to be some guy who is like scrambling. He's like, where the fuck did I put the password? Oh, Jesus.
We thought he lived.
WordPress. I need help.
We thought he lived forever.
How do you recover a password? Oh, shit.
I don't use that email anymore.
I don't have that cell phone. It was a flip phone. It was 1979. We all had flip phones. It was a crazy time.
So they come up with the idea to fake all this stuff, and so they do. So they meet Gareth Tolar. They get him from the Klingon prison.
Yep.
He says we need the data rod, and to do that, we need some biometric gel. All this stuff. There's all these things, and as this, I guess, plot further progresses, Sisko has to continue kind of bending and moving into the gray area.
I think they brought up that biomimetic gel before, right? Like someone was trying to steal it or sell it or something.
Fairly recently, I feel like.
Because they were cloning or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So they agree on 85 because you wanted 200 liters of it. They get 85. Julian is mad. He's like, I'm putting this in my blah, blah, blah. And I'm also blah, 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 blah.
Do what you want. I don't care.
And Sisko gave him the wanker.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Starfleet knows that I'm doing this. Stop being a fucking pain in the ass. So that happens.
Like I was playing a 90s adventure game during that point. It was like, well, to do this, first you have to do this. But to do that, you have to go do this quest first.
Mm-hmm. It has that vibe to it. But I mean, a plane of this nature is not going to come together easily.
It would be cool if, like, all these things, they actually had to go somewhere and do it instead of just happening off camera. Like, freeing this guy from the Klingon prison. Like, if they had to do a secret mission to get him out of there and swap him out with a body double or something.
See, but that's what would happen now in 2020.
This episode would be a season-long arc.
Yes. You're exactly right. This episode would be a season-long arc, or it would be, half season, and then they would get to the point where it's fake.
That's the Christmas. That's the Christmas. That's the last thing. And then, boom, we take off for the winter break. That's a really great analogy, Dennis. This episode could be an entire arc of Deep Space Nine if it was 6 episodes,
Yeah. The first 10 minutes of the first episode would be Sisko recording, saying how much he's bummed out that things didn't work out the way it did.
I mean,
Let me tell you my story.
They'd probably even show the Cairo getting fucking wrecked and all that shit and all these people dying. Like, it just would.
That would be the cold open of the first episode of the season. The Cairo just chilling and getting attacked and blowed up.
Yeah. So, you're precisely. But
Let's
now,
make this episode.
They got to do this in fucking 10 minutes. They got to do this in 48 minutes. Let's go. Chop, chop. No time for any of that stuff. They just show up at the station. Because I would have loved to have seen the interaction between Garon and Sisko to try to get this guy out of a Klingon prison because he's been sentenced to death. I mean, granted, the Klingons will kill anybody for just about anything, but why, What did he do? How did he do it?
He had no honor.
And there had to have been some crazy negotiation to get him out of prison.
They did an honor check at the border, and he didn't have any honor. So
there had to be some crazy. I would have loved to seen the crazy-eyed standoff between Sisko and Garon, just making crazy eyes at each other.
Yeah. That's what the negotiation was. It was like a staring contest. Whoever blinks first.
Who can make bigger, crazier eyes?
Today is a good day to negotiate.
But yeah, that would have been cool to see, but no, it just happened. And then they make this holograph. Tolar makes the holograph, and it looks okay, and they put it on the data rod, and then the guy shows up at Deep Space Nine, and Varric's kind of a douche because he's a politician, and he's a Romulan. And that's what Romulans are. We all kind of assume that Romulans are douches, but it's very cool to see Romulans because they're the forbidden fruit of Star Trek villainy.
And it's even McHattie.
Yeah, I love him.
I don't even know who that is.
He's been in a lot of different things.
Most
recently, I can remember in Orphan Black.
If you take a moment, please. I know a lot of people don't like horror movies. make an exception for this. It's called Pontypool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And he's the star, and it's a Canadian horror movie set in Pontypool, and I think Ontario. But
one of those.
Just it's one of those psychological thrillers, and
it's their version of a zombie movie.
Ooh, fun. Okay.
I guess yeah.
Oh, they're gonna eat our brains.
Not necessarily, but it's the same kind of like spread of a contagion kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone called Brett the Hitman Hart. He'll save us. He's a hero of Canada. Put him in the sharpshooter, eh?
Hey, I'm sorry. I have to bite you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you hosers. Get out of here, zombies.
Oh, no. Zombie John Candy. He's making us laugh to death.
Oh, no. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, no.
They get Rick Moranis out of retirement to come back and save Canada.
That'd be cool. I'd watch that. Honey, I zombied the kids.
Isn't he coming out of retirement? Didn't we talk about this before?
I heard that was a rumor.
Oh, no. Zombies, eh?
I heard a rumor. They say you got a broken heart.
I heard.
Was that Bananarama?
Maybe. It's a great song, though.
If you are afraid that you watch this psychological thriller with Stephen McCatty called Pontypool, and you're like, oh, but I need something humorous to kind of take the edge off, then I could suggest another drama starring a lot of Canadian actors and comedians we know and love, Canadian Bacon.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
The movie's great.
I like the trick that they have a lot of the Canadian actors playing Americans and a lot of the American actors playing Canadians.
See, I haven't seen it in a while. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Man, so here's where everybody knows him from. We all know him from Seinfeld as Elaine's psychiatrist boyfriend.
Mm.
He's like, I have a feeling one of my patients needs me when they're in Tuscany.
Right. Okay. All right. This is he's got a pretty long resume.
Yeah.
Did anyone else know that they just kept mispronouncing words in this episode just to make me mad? At one point they said, shit, and I'm going to go back and watch it. Next week I'll write down the words. There were several points where they didn't mispronounce it, but they went with an alternate pronunciation. I was like, that's too fancy. Like they were pronouncing words to be fancy, because when I just said resume, it reminded me of that. I'm going to go back and watch. And I'll update next week with the words.
Like
I believe
Lieutenant Commander Data.
Repartee was one of them. I believe repartee was one. I think.
How could they have said that differently?
Because there's many ways to say that word. He said it, but he said it in a fancy way. I think he said it in a fancy way. I think that might be
fancy enough.
I can't remember, but I'll go back and watch.
Repartee.
Repartee. I don't know how he said it, but I think that might have been one of them. I'm not sure. But yeah, there was a couple of fancy pronunciations that I found silly. But anywho. Now where are we here? Yeah, so it's a fake. It's a fake. He sees the thing.
Fake.
It's a fake.
I mean, surely to God, everybody listening to this episode has seen the memes with "It's a fake."
That's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I bet that's how they auditioned for the role. It's like, we just need you to say 3 words. It's a fake.
It's a fake.
It's a fake?
I don't even really know what kind of emotion he's expressing
fake.
here. It's like a weird, like he's upset that he's been faked out, but he's kind of happy to have caught them at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's a weird.
It's a fake.
It's a weird emotion that he's on. He's definitely taking us on a weird ride here. I'm watching it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna replay that.
It's a fake.
And it doesn't like it's a date. They say it's a data rod, but it looks more like a vape pen.
Yeah. Well, he wanted a jewel. He got some, like jewel. And
You get one of those cheap Chinese ones that has like lead in it or whatever.
Yeah,
it's a fake.
That's what killed him was his shitty vape pen.
Somebody tell me.
Explodes.
There it is, right there. Let's replay it. Watch.
Oh, this is a video of only it's a fake.
See, it's a weird, like,
I need a gif of this.
he doesn't
Oh,
have
they're
like
out there.
he
This is
doesn't
like
have
the teacher caught you cheating.
but he
It's
doesn't
a
have like because it's only a 3-second clip and he doesn't have a lot of emotion or anything in his eyes, but it's just a lot of mouth movement.
Yeah. Well, teeth action.
See, look yeah, and then it's over. It's so fast. It's a fake. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
other than one arm, his body's like completely holding still.
He's got like Bob Dole pen too.
Yeah.
Bob Dole is a fake. Bob Dole says this is fake.
I want to think that somewhere in this world
We have
there's
the
a video.
oldest references.
Bob Dole, it's fake. Well, go back and look at Bob Dole. Bob Dole was,
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, he was a veteran in World War II. He was injured in I believe a plane crash or something
No,
like
it was
that.
Italy. Took a grenade.
Yeah, took a grenade in Italy. So, I mean, he's a war hero, for God's sakes. But he lost the use of his right hand, so he used to hold
Right.
a pen in his hand all the time. But he would always kind of wave his pen hand around.
Yeah.
And
Well, the reason he held the pen is so people wouldn't reach to shake his hand.
Yeah.
He had, he didn't want to be rude.
Be like, you can't hold my fucked up hand that I got
Yeah.
Who
fucked
used
up.
to do
by
him on
saving
Saturday
you.
Night Live?
Norm Macdonald used to do him.
Yeah.
Bob Dole. Yeah.
Abdul.
Yeah.
Bob Dole speaks in the third person.
Yeah. Norm Macdonald did him for a while, which was good.
Yeah.
Which is funny to picture Norm Macdonald impersonating anybody because he's just Norm Macdonald in makeup. You know, like Norm Macdonald's doing Burt Reynolds. It's just Norm Macdonald with a hat on. Like that's all it is. And a jacket. Chewing gum.
And a
It
mustache.
works.
Yeah.
It works.
You ever watch his show on Netflix?
Yes.
It's like a talk show.
I did
I've
not.
watched some of it. Yeah.
It's not a great talk show, but it's a great Norm Macdonald show.
Right.
But those are two different things because you
They are.
really have to enjoy Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, and I do.
Now, Norm Macdonald is just one of those things that you have to get. If you don't get Norm Macdonald, then you're just not going to be into it.
Yeah.
Because his special on Netflix, The Hitler's Dog, is fucking hilarious. When he talks about like going and eating a loaf of bread before, like that was great. Man, I love Norm Macdonald. But yeah, and he's also Canadian,
Yeah,
so maybe he would be in the Canadian zombie movie.
he's in Alpha Flight.
It's a
He's gonna
fake.
save Canada.
It's a fake. But yeah, so when the ship lands, Garrick says, well, hey, I want to go check it out to make sure they haven't gotten any information. I want to just basically scan it to make sure that they haven't gotten any new stuff that would kind of get us in trouble with any of this stuff. So he goes off and does that. Lo and behold, it's a fake. He leaves. 2 days later, his ship gets blown up.
Bum, 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 bum. It's crazy
And
coincidence.
that
Cisco
happen?
is pissed.
I instantly, as soon as I watched it, I giggled like a schoolgirl and said, Garrick blew up the ship. He, he. And that's why Garrick is the best Star Trek character in the whole wide world.
This is like
Yes.
the Usual Suspects Kaiser Sose moment.
Yes.
Like Cisco drops his cup and it shatters on the floor.
And he goes to his tailor shop. He goes to Garrick's tailor shop and just punches him in the face a couple times. And Garrick just tells him, like, look, you wanted me involved because you knew this is what was going to have to happen. He's like, you knew I would do this. He said, you knew that I would do what was necessary to get the Romulans in the war, and it worked. And all it took was killing a senator, killing some weird sex maniac, and your conscience. Boom.
And see, I
This is
felt
the,
bad
the
about that.
Scorpion and the Frog.
Yeah.
See,
Exactly.
it was more than that, though. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I was like, well, yeah, but the two security guys were there, too. He wasn't traveling alone. Like, they nameless, faceless,
Yeah.
no credit
Yeah,
characters.
And all of Garrick's informants on Cardassia Prime that are now dead.
Well, that didn't...
There's a
that,
long list of people that died because to get
Not because of
Autobothans
this,
died.
though. Not because of this. They died trying to get it the right way. So, these guys...
I've got no problem with what Garrick did. Like, this is what life is.
Well, apparently Cisco had no problem with this either.
you
Yeah.
know?
Once he got it pointed out to him like that, he's like, oh, you know what? You're right.
Like he was
Right.
mad then because it still wasn't sure if the Romulans would buy it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, any imperfections, it's going to look like it was from the blast damage. So, you good.
And sure as shit, that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
He sold it to him so well, though. I mean, the whole plan, is as shaky as it was, Sisko bought it, and it's like, yeah, he's gonna,
Yeah.
He had a backup plan the whole time. It was fucking fantastic.
I don't even think this was the backup plan. I think this was Garrick's
That was the actual plan.
No,
He was actually, like, the other one was the backup plan.
Yeah. No, it might work. It might.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably won't, but it might. And then we do this.
The plan.
Do you think that he actually wanted the other guy dead too, the criminal that got busted out of the Klingon prison?
Probably.
That was like kind of part of the plan. It was like, well, I know that he's probably going to fuck up, and we can kill him too.
Well, see, I think it'd be funny if the guy was like, he examines it and he's like, it's real. And then goes on his ship, drives away, and then 2 days later it blows up. It's like, what the fuck? He fell for it. He couldn't take the chance.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when Sisko asked, like, well, what about this guy? What about the weird fish-looking guy? They were going to kill him anyway because Sisko even told him, like, hey, if this doesn't work out, we're sending you back to the Klingon homeworld. You're going back to jail, baby.
That's the legal way to do it.
Get the fuck out of here,
Due
Dennis.
process under Klingon law.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Whatever.
I mean, you know what? You can do it with your due process and blah, blah, blah. But Garrick is the man that, if you want to get some shit done, let's get it done.
You want me on that wormhole. You
need me on that wormhole.
It was really great. Like, as soon as they said shit blew up, I was like, fucking Garrick's the best. Like, he's just
That's just Garrick.
He's wonderful. And like you said, Jenny, he sold it to Sisko easy. Like, that's why you wanted me here. That was my whole purpose of being here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So don't get all surprised that Garrick's going to do Garrick stuff, baby. That's what I do.
Garrick gonna Garrick.
Yeah, Garrick's going Garrick, That's just Garrick being Garrick, like Manny being Manny, baby. That's just that. That's what it is. And then Sisko kind of
he's gonna go take a pee break in the middle of the 7th inning of a baseball game.
Yeah, he's gonna do all that stuff, baby. But he's also gonna drive in the winning run and win you a World Series.
Yeah. And
that's just what it is. And sure as shit,
See, we're talking about a different Manny.
Yeah, but I mean, either Manny works. But same old, baby. It worked. The Romulans are now involved in this war, and they're fighting with the good guys, if you will.
Hey, we even have a welcome to the fight party tonight.
Yep.
But did they invite the Romulans to that party?
No, they crashed it. They showed up in cloaked ships, and then it was like kind of really awkward. And it's like, oh yeah, you were.
We heard you're having a party. Oh, what? A party in our honor?
Surprise!
Oh, thank you so much.
Look, everybody wearing big shoulder pads.
That's right. Everybody was in Romulan face, and then they got really embarrassed when the Romulan showed up.
Oh shit! Tell them we're all Vulcans. Do the fucking hand thing. I don't know, the hand thing.
And then right in the middle, Quark walks out with more drinks. He's dressed up like a Romulan too, with his big ass ears.
But man,
I would like to see Quark with Lego hair and Romulan ears and big shoulder pads.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it! I gotta fucking
Photoshop.
This was a
always create more work for myself.
Fucking great episode.
Yes.
I mean, you can't. Man, it's just so well done in every way, shape, or form. Like, it was written well. It's just great. It's just great.
This is my slight second favorite episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so much to like about it.
It was great.
So like in the reception and reviews part of this Wikipedia page or critical reception or whatever, like they have all the people, like where it's been ranked by people, like the best DS9 episode or the top Star Trek episode or whatever. But then I look back at all the episodes this season. Season 6 of DS9 is fucking out of sight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It really
I'm
is.
100% not even sure it's the best episode of this season of DS9.
That's tough, man.
It's a really great season.
I was talking to a friend of mine. We were talking about Star Wars, and I was like, well, you know what, man, I'm more excited about Star Trek at this point in my life anyway. And he's like, you know what, man, like, you know, I loved TNG growing up, but like, I don't know, like the original series kind of stinks. I mean, it's real campy and goofy. And I was like, that's the fun at this point. And he's like, you know, I didn't really watch any. I was like, dude, watch Deep Space Nine. Like, just watch Deep Space Nine. I said it takes a couple years to get going, but like once it gets going, like it's fucking tremendous. I told him, I was like, dude, one of the seasons is like a 6-episode arc, and he was like, for real? And I was like, yeah, dude, it's brilliant. Like it's fantastic television.
Yeah. I've been trying to sell people on it, but it's tough because the first few episodes are rough to get through. And I've been telling people, like, when I'm trying to sell them on it, it's like, but unfortunately you need to watch those because all that shit about the prophets and the wormhole, like, you need to know it for later on.
Yeah.
You know?
But dude, it's
homework. The pilot is homework.
Yeah.
But you need to do it.
Just battle through it. Like, man, Deep Space Nine, it's just, this episode is so fucking good. And I mean, again, yes, this kind of storytelling has been told. This kind of like, you know, good guy willing to do anything, you know, living in the area of Great Point is so kind of passe, but I feel like it shouldn't suffer because it's much like The Watchmen, if you will. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago, like the graphic novel.
Oh,
The Watchmen.
That's another one.
You know,
I haven't seen.
Yeah. Is he in The Watchmen?
He's the original Night Owl.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Is he?
Yeah.
Huh.
But we were talking about The Watchmen, how that suffers. If you've never read The Watchmen and you read it now, it's like everything's like that. Yeah, but it wasn't like that in 1985.
Yeah.
You know, so don't let that affect this. Just if you think about this in like the vacuum of 1998, this is some fucking great television. Because I would love to see, not to sound like a dick, but I would love to see what Voyager is doing at this point right now.
Yeah, and that's the great thing is you can look at contemporary Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like not even contemporary shows, but contemporary Star Trek and see how it stands out compared to that TNG and Voyager.
Well, then the other thing, though, is the fact that Voyager was requiring so much attention from the production, you know, like the studio and everything, the big wigs, because that's where they were dumping their money. And that's, you know, that's the network show now, that they forgot about DS9. They just, you know, it's like
DS9 is like the middle child that gets away with a bunch of shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I dig it. That's my favorite thing about it.
I highly recommend everybody, you know, read or listen to the what was it, the 50-Year Voyage that Bob and I read
that book
last
is so
year.
Great.
Dude, when they talk about this era in Star Trek with DS9 and stuff, and they were just, you know, what was the guy's name? Ira, shit. The executive.
Stephen Bear.
Yeah, he's getting by with murder on this show because he's like, yeah, I don't like story arcs. And then he just kind of, you know, sneaks a couple in. Then he does the 6-episode arc, and that was unheard of in 98.
Yeah.
And Bob, I think to your point, you're reading the Peanuts with your kids. That's a perfect example of how, you know, his style got, you know, copied, that minimalism with the almost no backgrounds and just the couple of sprigs of grass to set the tone or whatever, the setting.
Yeah.
In 1950, early 50s, when this is coming out, comics weren't like that. Comics were complicated. You know, they had complex backgrounds and, you know, all this art. And Schultz was like, nope, it's going to be little. It's going to be the size of a postage stamp. It'll, you know, it's got to be simple as possible.
And I'm going to do 365 of them a year.
Get the point across.
But yeah, dude, it's fucking great. Like this episode is, I don't even know what's our highest rating, a 9? That's as high as we go on Deep Space. This episode's a 9, and it's easy. I mean, just go back and watch it. It's brilliant. Like it's far and away the best Deep Space Nine episode.
That's the only thing I disagree with.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best. I don't know if it's my favorite. I'm going to give it an 8.5 just because the slight thing I knocked it down for was like I didn't like all the exposition.
Yeah, but we already talked about that, and you're wrong, so it's cool. Don't worry.
Well, then I'll be wrong about my score.
It's an 8 because of that.
No.
And like I said, I'm not even sure it's the best episode of this season because you look at like Favor the Bold, Sacrifice of Angels.
Yeah,
Rocks
you're
and
right.
Shoals,
Sacrifice of Angels is
There's
good.
just so many great episodes in season 6.
Waltz.
Like, it's just perfect.
Who Mourns for Morn.
You know, I
Season
guess
6
you're
has
right.
been fantastic.
I
Season
think
6
this
has
is
been really good.
8.9. So I'll give this one.
Honor
All right,
Among
8
Thieves. That's a great episode.
No, Anna Amongst Thieves in the first place. Like, it's great. Like, this whole season has just been, you know, just so wonderful.
Well, see, a lot of this is why early on when we first started watching Deep Space Nine, I would, say stuff like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna give this a 7. Yeah, it was really good, but I know what's coming."
Yeah, but that's so weird to me. Like, we only gave you a certain number of 9s. Like, you can only, you know what, Ben? You get 1 9 a season. That's it. You got to spread them out. You know what I'm saying? If you love it, like, just love it. Like, just go with it, man. I don't know. It was just so wonderful.
I just know that I love this one less than I love Far Beyond the Stars, but not by much. So that's in Far Beyond the Stars is automatically my 9. And so Pale Moonlight is just, that's why it's 8.9. It's just like
it's almost not fair that all these episodes are in the same season.
Yeah, you need to spread it out.
I mean, it's not fair that all these episodes are on the same show.
Yeah.
Like, you think like, they're just, this is season 6, and you're talking about like every week they're just coming at you. And even if it's an episode that's just as simple as Worf getting married, you're like, wow, that's done really well.
That's a really
like,
good episode.
They're just punching you in the face every week with like, oh yeah, we'll top that. They're just topping themselves almost on a weekly basis. And it's fucking great to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
They're teen witching it.
Yeah, they are.
Totally.
They are topping that. It's great. But the only thing that I'm afraid of a season 7 is going to be a letdown because it almost kind of has to be at this point. But I know there's some really great season 7 episodes too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. And
can't wait.
And I'm excited that we get to see more Romulans now, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Maybe Yar will come back.
I mean, we can only hope.
Right?
That Yar will come back. Because that's exactly what this
Changeling Yar.
That's exactly what this series is missing is Yar somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I'm back, guys. You know what? I need a couple bucks. My car ran out of gas, and I need $38 to take a bus to Burbank. So can you guys give me? Fine, you could be.
Told you have to return that blonde Romulan wig to costumes.
Fine. But yeah, man, this is great Trek. We hope you really dig it. Ben, you don't like Dork Trek? That's so funny.
Huh?
You don't like the Dork Trek page. I need to invite you to like it. That's so hilarious.
I don't?
That's what it said.
I have an app that routinely goes through and everything from a certain period back. It slowly unlikes and deletes everything that I do. And,
covering those tracks, baby, just in case they find you dead and they don't know what you're doing on the computer machine.
It's a fake.
I didn't kill myself, that's for sure.
It's a fake.
You know what else? Neither did Jeffrey Epstein.
That's the hot rumor. That's the hot rumor. But that's the
I thought
episode.
That meme was dead.
No, never. That's funny because
that meme won't kill itself either.
Because I'm scrolling. It's funny because I'm scrolling on Facebook and there you go. I just saw it right there.
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
Well, I think what's his name.
As much as I'm tired of that meme, I appreciate it more than these stupid World War III and here comes the draft type of stuff.
I cannot.
That stuff really annoys me.
You look at a lot of that came from Generation Z, and the Zoomers are just really just morbid as fuck and nihilistic, and they're just laughing about, yep, we're all gonna die. And I think
there's enough people that are like, I don't know if there are
actively fighting
millennials that are like, oh my god, it's gonna be World War III. They're bringing back the draft. It's like, where are you getting this bullshit?
For the Zoomers.
No wonder you have so much anxiety. You're just
making up stuff. Did you see the thing that there was somebody, I guess, had started sending texts saying that, oh, you've been selected from the draft. They made like a fake army account, and you were getting,
No. Everybody knows they do that on TV.
It's a fake army account. I mean, we lived through 9/11, and they didn't. If they didn't institute the draft after 9/11, It's going to be pretty fucking hard to do after.
Well, if you want to bring down the room, somebody tweeted that we don't have to have a draft because it was replaced by poverty and class divide.
I mean, yeah.
And so as long as you have a poor underbelly of our society, they'll just keep being pulled into the military as their option is like, hey, if I survive the war, I'll get free health care and benefits. This is awesome.
And I can actually go to school.
What? Yeah. I wouldn't be where I am today without the Navy.
Yeah. I mean, you ain't the only one, baby. So there you go.
As long as you don't need to depend on the VA for healthcare.
Oh, I'll be dead long before I have to worry about that.
Well, you know what?
Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't.
That's the perfect way to end the show. I'll be dead before I have to worry about that. Well said, Ben. Well said. We'll be back next week with a lighter episode, with a little bit lighter fare. Next week we meet Vic Damone. No, that's the guy from Fast Times who gets that girl pregnant. We meet somebody else who's like a lounge singer Italian guy. So what's his name? It's not Vic Damone because that's the guy from Fast Times.
Nick Papa Giorgio?
Nah,
it's Vic something.
Vic Fontaine?
Sure, let's go with that. Let the fans correct us.
Oh,
that's what Twitter's for.
Yeah, right. It is. It was Vic Fontaine.
Two times.
Yes,
he's from the Time Tunnel.
He is. Great show. But yes, Irwin Allen.
Tunnel approaching.
Great show.
He's on the dinosaur train.
Yes, you. Dennis has kids of a certain age. So there you go, everybody. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week.